Nowadays, if you open YouTube, you're bombarded with titles like Broke to Full-Time Game Developer, How I Made My First Game, How to Sell Feed Pics Online, Making My Dream Fantasy Game. And as cool as these videos sound, who would actually think they could pull this off?
Oh, shit!
Oh my gosh, it's just slowly drifting away.
Oh, now it's too slow.
Oh my. This video is not getting complete.
I have no idea how to code, but I had to start somewhere. First, I had to pick a language and a game development software to learn. Making a game software. And awesome! It even has a tutorial on how to make your first game. Wow, this is going to be easy. Alright, let's make a game. Yeah, no, I still don't know how to code. Luckily for me, there are plenty of forums online from people doing the exact same thing from 10 years ago. And ChatGPT. A lot of help from ChatGPT. First, I actually needed to come up with an idea of what my game was going to be, which was this epic fantasy RPG open world survival game with goblins, orcs, feet, and elves and... But you aren't listening. I have no idea how to code. So I went for something easier. A game mechanic I like, specifically from Jetpack Joyride, the gravity guy, while trying to also keep the same endless runner-esque style. Good job, but how are you going to make it? I then broke down the whole project into bite-sized pieces so I don't get too overwhelmed. I started by setting up the room with a basic floor, ceiling, and player. Getting the physics to work properly was easily the hardest part of this whole thing. I was so close to quitting.
Oh my.
This montage that you're seeing is like 5% of what actually happened over what ended up being an entire month. I thought this whole video would be done in a month. Finally, the game finally worked. I'm so happy. I thought I'd never be this happy to see a green square move up and down, but here we are. Despite my happiness, the game was boring. I needed... or just obstacles that the player can avoid. I started with these spikes, but I didn't want my game to look like bootleg Geometry Dash, so I changed it to ominous circles and gaps between the floor. This went smoothly without any issues at all.
2 weeks later.
But finally, I had a legit working game. It was fun to play, but there are a few things to add to get that extra feel of polish, like a score counter, and a new record notification, and a start screen. There was just one problem. The game looked like arse. It needed art. Pixel art. The general story in my mind for the game was this last sun god running away from this all-consuming black hole into the endless abyss of space. The player character would be based on Helios, and would have this cool sun ring that would follow behind him. Which sounded good in theory, but after my attempt at pixel art, it actually came out all ribbony and flaky. I found this helpful animation online, and adapted my player character to suit it. And voila! Little yellow running dude. I really wish that this just went slotted straight into the game, no problem at all. But unfortunately, I had to change a bunch of code to get the player sprite to flip 180 degrees so it didn't look like the player was just grazing their head when on the ceiling. This, of course, broke the game and meant I had to recode like half the game.
1 week later.
Alright, come on.
Yeah, yes! It's working!
Next was creating the obstacle sprites, which this time, thankfully, went in pretty easy. This little guy's my favorite. Lastly was the background, where I wanted to create a bunch of layers that create an illusion of depth. It's what we in the business call the parallax effect. I did this with dark stars, animated light stars, a nebula, and black hole.
Black hole, at least my attempt at it. Pixel artists will probably be like, ew, you could have done this better, but you know what? Why don't you go suck an egg or something?
By the end of it, I realized I still hadn't changed the ground sprite, which was still this white box. But because of the way that the platforms generate, I was limited to what I could actually draw. Also, the ceiling sprite is an inverse to the ground sprite, and I didn't want to code for another week, so I just made this ring thing. I'm happy with it. Be happy with it. And the final result looked pretty immaculate. I got a bunch of people to play the game, and it was genuinely cool watching them figure out the mechanics and try and beat their high score. And the feedback from people was overall pretty good too, which is always nice, especially when I sunk over 2 months into this project. Anyway, this took way too long. The next video is probably going to be outside. I need to be outside. Touch some grass. Bye!